If you're stuck with your vocal range, this video is for you. So we're going to talk about particularly getting past the first bridge and up to the second bridge. So for guys, that's going to be getting past the F4 and up to the A4 area. Ladies, it's going to be getting past the C5 and getting up to the E5 area. And if you're stuck around that second bridge, this video is also going to be important as well. So this gentleman sent me in a recording as part of a free vocal assessment that I offer, and you can check the information in the description below if you want to send in a recording. And he's getting stuck past his first bridge. He can occasionally hit notes like G, G sharp, A, but they're very inconsistent and hard to use in songs. So if this is something that resonates with you, keep watching. मंजिल की है दीवार हकीकत में जो है नागवार सभी का विषय है. The issue always starts earlier than you think. So for example, if you're getting stuck on your second bridge, the issue is likely actually starting on your first bridge. Okay? So if you're a guy and you're getting stuck on the A4 and you can't get up there properly and it's hard and you can't get past that note, the issue is usually starting actually down around the E or F. And ladies, that's going to be high C for you. The issue's starting around your high C. And that's why the notes above it are really tough for you. Now, as you start singing from your low range to your high range, you can kind of go down different paths with your voice. And one's going to get you stuck and the other one's going to let you through. So these are the two kind of things that can happen. Most people are going to do this. They're going to go, you know, ah, they come up here, ah, ah, and it feels like you got to kind of yell for the notes, right? Ah, and it starts getting wider and higher up in the throat. Ah, and it starts to do stuff like that. Ah, and it gets really thin and unstable. Ah, now I can go pretty high with that sound, but when you try to actually apply that into a song, it's gonna fall apart, and that's what's happening to this gentleman here. So as he's coming up higher, he's starting, even in the lower notes, he's kind of really high up in the throat, even in the low range. So what that means is if you're getting into that position from such a low range, you're setting up the high notes in that position, and that's why you're getting stuck. So here's another path that we can go towards, and this is what you need to be doing around your first bridge. So if I'm here and I go, ah, ah, you hear it's going somewhere else. Ah, can you hear that? Ah, can you hear I'm going somewhere else with this? Ah, you notice it's not so high in my throat anymore. Ah, can you hear it? There's a bit more kind of, it's like anchored, right? And it's not getting so, it's not like, ah, it's not kind of stuck in my throat or anything. So you need to find this position way earlier in your range, because if you're trying to fix your high range, it's too late. It's too late. You've got to fix whatever, the high range is a symptom of what's happening earlier. So you've got to fix everything lower so that you can start getting up into the high range the right way. So on that F4 there, that first bridge, and ladies, this is going to be high C for you. Instead of going, ah, instead of it going down that path, it's going, ah. You see how stable that note is? And I'm not having to shout up to the note, right? Now, some people will call this mixed voice. That's totally fine. I still see it as chest voice though. So even down here, even down there, It's kind of high up in the throat and it's kind of airy. The vocal cords aren't coming together properly. So those are two red flags. So what's going to happen is, as you go higher, your larynx is going to go up high, and you're gonna run out of room. But once you get to A4, you run out of room. You got nowhere else to go. So I asked this gentleman to send me him singing the ooh vowel loudly and strongly on his first bridge around the F and F sharp, and he sent me this. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so that's a problem to me because he's not getting a clear ooh. It's not coming out clear like that. It's coming ooh, like there's a lot of air coming through. That indicates that, yeah, he's got a good connection to his belly, but he doesn't have good compression skills of squeezing the vocal cords together. So in my last video, I made it really, really clear that you have to grow a very solid, clear chest voice up to your first bridge before you do anything else, before you mess around with the high notes. What's happening with this gentleman is he hasn't grown a loud, clear chest voice first. So what happens is you get stuck when you go up to the second bridge. That's why I'm saying that it's so important to grow this loud chest voice. And what I mean by that is, it's like this, ah! You see, it's like really loud and clear. That's on my first bridge. Hey! Ee! Ooh! Even my ooh vowel. Ooh! Oh! Ee! All of my vowels there are very loud and solid, but they're clear. They're not airy. And they're not high in my throat. They're not, ah! It's not that. It's, ah! So most people, when they're trying to build their voice, they'll usually get two kind of things happening. Either they'll get the bright sound, but it will be, ah, like stuck in the throat really high up, or they'll get the deep sound, but they won't get the brightness with it. Oh! And it'll be really airy and kind of make you hoarse. What you're looking for is both qualities. Okay? The deep sound indicates the throat is relaxed, and then the bright sound indicates the vocal cords are compressing properly. So if I go, ah, that you hear under the voice shows that I have good connection to my support and the throat is opening the right way. And that that bright clear edge bite that you hear indicates my vocal cords are strongly compressing the right way. Now that you understand kind of the problem, let's talk about what you can do right now. What's one thing that you can get started on right now? As I said to this gentleman, I would urge him to first go back to my previous video and make sure he can do that first. But then what's next? Okay, let's talk about that. What you want to start doing is working heavily from what I call the ooh position. Now, what is the ooh position? Basically, it's this. Can you sing an ooh with your mouth completely open on your first bridge? Can you go, ooh? You see I'm singing ooh, but my mouth's completely open? It's pretty weird, right? So most people, they'll sing ooh like this. Ooh! Now what happens if I open that? What's this? What am I doing, really? Ooh! I'm actually singing, I'm not even singing ooh, right? So a lot of people are faking the sound. So you're getting the sound of ooh, but you're actually not forming the sound in your throat the right way. Why is this an issue? Because this means you're losing the low larynx position and you're going to get all the problems we just talked about. So what you're going to find, have your mouth completely open and learn to find the ooh vowel like that. Learn to find it like this. Ooh, ooh. You see, it's like, it's really deep in my body, right? It's not, it's not that. And you're probably going to have that problem initially. Initially, you're probably going to sound like this. Or, and then eventually, as you get closer, ooh, ooh. If you do this sound the right way, it's proving that you're getting the vocal cords to compress together the right way. You're getting the throat to open the right way. You're shaping the vowel in the throat the right way. The larynx is doing the right thing. You got a good connection down to your belly. It's like the tongue's articulating the vowel. You see my middle of my tongue's lifting up to pronounce the vowel. It's like everything is working. And it's a simple way for you to know if you're doing it right. Okay? The sound has to be clear. It can't be where it's airy. It's going to be clear. It's going to be solid. It's going to have that deep sound to it. It can't be nasal. It can't be that. And that's the first thing you want to find. Now, if you can't find that, and you're practicing, you just can't find it, it may indicate that you lack the strength, the squeeze strength in the vocal cords to find it. In which case, I sometimes have people do some pretty drastic things. So this is something you can try. You can open your mouth and then hold your breath like this. Huh? Like that. Huh? And you see I'm huh? Huh? You see I'm holding back my breath. I'm locking my vocal cords together, holding back my breath, and then I just a little bit, let them open just a little bit until sound can come out. This will teach you how to close your vocal cords in a lower larynx position, which is how you need to start approaching the notes above that first bridge. Okay? Now, ladies, don't try to lock your voice in the range I'm doing it in because it's too low. Okay? This doesn't work very well in the low range. You got to do it in a high range relative to you. So you got to find a range that's relatively high for your individual voice, and then you want to practice with the jaw completely down, breathing in with the mouth open, and just making a sound like that, like in this kind of sound. And as I'm doing that sound, I'm pushing from here. I'll give you a view here. I'm going I'm pushing pretty firmly from the sides here, because if you don't, and you don't have that connection, you're gonna get it's gonna be all in your throat. And that's why it's so important to be able to meet the requirements that I mentioned before about being able to sing up to your first bridge in a strong sound, because if you can do that, it means you already got a handle of support when you try to do this kind of stuff, right? You see how I'm stacking on these kind of things, okay? So the first thing you've got to find is just any kind of sound from that Can you hear how it's deep? It's not it's not high in my throat. If it's high in your throat, it kind of over squeezes, and you can kind of hear it like scratching my throat. That's because when the larynx is too high, the vocal cords aren't in a good leverage position to engage fully. So we got to find that kind of sound. Once you've found that sound, you want to see if you can do it on different kinds of vowels and then on scales. So for example, you could go like that, or keeping it all the way open. And you take it up to your second bridge. And so I'm gauging that squeeze, and then as I go down the scale, I relax off it. You see me loosening that squeeze and relaxing it, because as you go lower, you don't want that much squeeze. You just don't need that much squeeze. So you're trying to coordinate, engaging it strongly and then loosening it as you come down. Engaging it strongly, loosening it as you come down. Eventually, as you practice this, you won't need to manually add the squeeze in, and it will kick in to the right degree. And this is more advanced. It'll come later. So when I'm doing it here, it's just doing it like I'm not overly squeezing it, right? It's just kind of, I'm not going, I'm not doing that. I'm just singing on autopilot, and there's a certain amount that squeezes. It's clear, and this vocal cords are coming together, but I'm not overdoing it, right? And I'm not underdoing it, which would be underdoing it would make my larynx come out and I'll get into that kind of thing. It's very common to have to go through this kind of what I call the dying dog phase. And what I'm going to do is leave you with a clip of me taking through a student through this and having him sing up into that second bridge range with this this kind of squeeze, so you can kind of see what goes into actually building that high range. Good job, good job, good job. Are you kicking that in on purpose, or is it just doing that?
A little bit on purpose.
But it's pretty good how it's coming in degrees. You're starting loose, and then the top note you're bringing it in, and then you're dialing back out. That's how you meant to do it, yeah. Nice. Good. If you need a little break.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you feel it? You notice there is a shift, though, from G sharp to A there. Do you feel it? It's a slight difference.
It just squeezes in harder.
There's like a different gear shift that you got to go through to get to the A.
Yeah.
That A4 is a different bridge. And before you were getting stuck around there, but now your voice knows what to do. And the larynx shifts just a little bit higher. The chords get a little bit thinner, but you're in the same spot, essentially. Good job. Yeah, good. Let's go high C on this.
Hold on.
Take your time. Yeah, take a little break for it. Let's try a high C there. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, it is like a different kind of. It's like a different.
Yep. That's
it's like a different gear shift.
Yes, the high C is another one. Yeah. So you've got that.
So.
Good. You've gotten a lot of control over this since I last saw you, man. Good job. Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Okay.
See me try it again.
Wishing all my feeling was gone.
Let's
put it together now.
Now, if you're still struggling with this, or you don't know how to diagnose whether you're doing it correctly or not, then I have a program called the Pro Singers Vault, where I walk you through step by step through this stuff. So the course is separated into sections with a clear goal for each section. So, okay, like section 1, you have to be able to do this. Section 2, you have to be able to do this before moving on. Section 3, you have to be able to do this before moving on, etc., etc. The course comes with the ability to get my feedback as well, so you can always check in with me to make sure you're doing it right. If you'd prefer to get one-on-one help with me directly, I also do Skype lessons. I've got all the information for this stuff down below. I highly recommend it if you're serious about your voice. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for new videos or requests, leave your comments down below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible.